and we're going to talk about two things really: online access for patients, efficiency for GPs, and they go hand in hand. It's a bit of a strange setup, isn't it? Do you want to come closer? You know, it's just you feel miles away over there. Come closer. Come on. Who have we got in the audience? Any patients? Okay. Any GPs? I don't know what you all else do. Managers, commissioners, IT. Okay, good variety. Well, I hope this is going to answer some of your questions. I'm an engineer. I set up GP Access about 4 years ago. We've been helping GPs for 4 years, mostly with telephone consulting. And now things have changed. Things have moved on. But let's see, first of all, what is the problem? This is the picture outside many practices all over the country every morning, particularly on Mondays. You're probably familiar with it. If they're not standing outside, they're probably on the phone queuing up. Inside, there's some very frustrated people trying and failing to answer the telephone. I'm an engineer, so I do lots of charts, and I like to put that frustration in terms of data. And the data is this. This is when appointments are booked. It's what we call the Blackpool Tower. It's very painful. It's not because everybody is ill at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's just because that's when they fear is their only chance of getting in to see the doctor. It's anxiety that's driving them. Generally sad faces all round. I haven't got a picture of a sad-looking doctor, but you can imagine. We need help. We've got to do something different. Now, I don't know whether if you've been around long enough, you'll have realised that there are lots of cunning plans out there. And this is what it's called. Does that ring any bells? Let's divert people. I had a very interesting conversation earlier this week with a lady from what used to be called the Nudge Unit, it's Behavioural Insights team. And we were talking about this, and I said to her, have you found anything that works to divert people to some other form of demand? And she said no. And this is from the team at the heart of government that is designed to make people do things differently. She said no. And I thought, what a really good answer from somebody who knows. She has no idea. They have no idea how to divert it. I said, do you know what doesn't work? Oh yeah, we know plenty of stuff that doesn't work. Well, the cunning plan, okay? Call 111. Actually, she told me we know that 111 doesn't work. NHS Choices. I mean, NHS Choices is fantastic. The information on there is second to none for universality, detail. More people visit NHS Choices now than visit their own doctor. Fantastic. I'm all for it. But here it is. We've got a result from all these ideas. Doctors are apparently, they're out of work because people are visiting NHS Choices instead. The hospitals are emptying, and ambulances, you see them parked up, nothing to do. Sorry, am I making this up? Right. So diversion didn't actually work. Why are motorways so good? Because actually, they're a great way of getting from A to B. Now, instead of diverting people, what we need to do is to get the most use out of our very excellent resources. And I'm going to be talking about GPs, of course there are others, but GPs are at the heart of primary care. Don't divert, make it flow better. Now, let's do a little bit of background stuff. How do GPs operate? Principally, face-to-face. They sit down and sort you out. They're very good at sorting out problems of open source. And this is the traditional model. It's what we call local, same place, and synchronous, same time. What some GPs discovered 15 years ago, in fact, was that remote consulting over the telephone works extremely well. And they discovered that 60% of patients, on average, could be dealt with remotely. Still synchronous, meaning you're there at the same time. But there's another load of stuff which is asynchronous, which means you're in the same place but at a different time. If you want a prescription repeat, you drop it into the doctor's and you pick it up later. But you don't have to queue up in front of the doctor face to face. That's really good. But what if we could do something down here called remote and asynchronous? Now, look at the cost. Face-to-face may be appropriate, but it's the most expensive route. If we go remote or asynchronous, we save a lot of money and cost. That's what we need to do in the NHS. Now, what can we do in that bottom corner? Because it's going to be another step change in productivity. So, what we designed is this system called AskMyGP, which does exactly that. You can go in remotely, asynchronously. In ordinary terms, that means you can be on a web or smartphone or tablet and seek help from your doctor. This is not the same as booking an appointment with your doctor. Remember the first thing, 60% of the people seeing a doctor face to face don't need to be there. The doctor can help them remotely. So booking an appointment when 60% is wasted is not actually a great use of doctor resource. So you seek help online. And from there, the doctor's going to decide whether to call you, telephone, or see you face to face, or maybe send you a message or send you a prescription. Okay? What we needed to do was to enable that to happen. So how does it work? Well, Mrs. Brindle's at home, describing the symptoms of her sore knee, answering questions. The doctor doesn't have to ask the patient the question. They get sent a medical report format, which goes, this is exactly where, what I'm feeling and how bad it is and what I can't do. He has a look at the existing notes, decides to phone. Well, that took 2 minutes just to catch up on a couple of things, give some reassurance, maybe a prescription. But we need to be able to do anything. So the patient goes in and says, I've got a chest infection, earache, headache, pain in my tummy, flu, I'm feeling low. It could be anything, and there are thousands of things that can be. But what we're going to do is ask questions about this specific thing. So if it's a chest infection, really simple, have you got a fever, temperature, nose, and so on and so on. So it's just very simple, yes, no, sometimes type answers, how long have you had it, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on what it is. It's then this conversion into a medical report, which means that in the space of a minute, the doctor can make a triage decision on how best to help. They've then got the material there for a consultation. They don't need to ask all basic questions. They can have further questions. They don't need to be typing the whole time because it's documented already. So this will be pasted into the record. It's difficult. It's difficult though because this is not just an email. The problem with emails, if you email a doctor saying I've got a cough, you're going to be bouncing emails to and fro for several days to work out what we need to do. So that all of the questions are asked in one go. Now, there are 80,000 questions in the knowledge base. They are not all possible questions. This is only a computer. It is not as good as a fully trained doctor at diagnosing you and deciding how to help with you. So we are going as far as we can with computer-patient interview. Now, what we now need to do is to fit this into a system. Because a piece of technology, particularly on the website, it's marvelous, but guarantee almost nobody will use it because patients don't trust something unless they have an experience that it actually works. They get lots of encouragement. So within the system, we're going to see. Okay, I'll use the same model diagram and go traditional system. 36 calls in, doctor sees 36 patients, which takes over 60 minutes. That's most practices now. Move on to a different model, telephone. Receptionist takes 36 calls. The GP makes 36 calls back to patients, which takes about 5 minutes. And they will decide to see about 15 of those. The total time is about 330 minutes. So I'm saving 10%, which is good. Some even get up to 20%. The average wait time to see a GP falls off a cliff. This is one of many that we've done. Patients were waiting 8 to 9 days, and now on the same day. We call that the donut chart. But this is a practice that is now doing an average of 14-minute response time to patients over the telephone. That's really, really good. It's hard work, but we're doing it. We couldn't make that any better. And I'm going to illustrate this with the Jumbo Jet. The Jumbo Jet was launched 40 years ago. 555 miles an hour cruising speed. What do you think is the cruising speed of Jumbo Jet today? No one.
580.
Ooh, close. 570. Okay? So, the point being that this has had masses of improvements. And almost nothing is the same. But using the same technology, which is subsonic aircraft, that's all you can do. We can't go any further with a telephone-led system. We need to have a different system to see the kind of step change in performance that the NHS needs. So, now what happens if all patients access online? 36 patients go online, seek help, takes the doctor 1 minute to assess those records, decides to see 11 of them, decides to telephone 11 of them, 7 of them sends to the nurse or physio or pharmacist, another 7 sends a message back to reception, I've got a prescription for them, I've got a message for them, job done. Total, 210 minutes. Now we have not got there. We have not got there. We won't get to 100% going online, but I think we will get to between 50 and 80%. We've already got to 45%, and I'll show you some of the data. This is patients now who have 24-hour access to their GP online. They can go in any time, seek help. And this is what they actually do. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Most of them are going in the morning, some in the afternoon, about half as many. By 5 o'clock it's tailing off. After 6 o'clock, almost nothing. Almost nothing. There are not loads of patients who want to see the doctor up to 8 o'clock. But there's a few, and that's fine. This is what's happening over the day. So you see that all that spiky thing, it's very regular. It's called Monday to Friday. So you get Saturday 2 or 3, Sunday a couple, Monday 97. And these are patients who could go in at any time. If they go in out of hours, they get a message to say, the doctor's not open now, we'll call you back when we're open. That's okay. It's amazing, isn't it? Patients that people have it. This is not for medical emergencies, right? So they do get a message. If you've got an emergency, call usual rooms. This is a little bit of psychology. So the website went live, and they changed the phone message to say, oh, go online. When they changed to the doctor gave the message on the phone. The usage nearly doubled. That's how much people trust the doctor versus one of the receptionists. So there's all sorts of psychology in how you get patients to. But the key thing is that you provide a really rapid response. We're measuring this 24 minutes. What we're is how the channel has shifted. So the top line there, has this got some of the laser? The top line there is the growth in online access. On the lower chart there, so the red line, that is the total demand, telephone plus face-to-face. Sorry, plus telephone plus online. The blue line is those that were converted to face-to-face. And it has dropped by 100 per week. So that's 6 sessions of GP time saved in this 12,500 practice. Who's using it? Well, do you know what? It's not just the young adults. It's people of all ages, right up to 94. Yeah. Quite a lot of babies. This is not babies playing like that. This is actually parents going in and saying, "I'm worried about their life." So parents can go in on behalf of their children. That's really popular. About 60% up there. Huge variety of medical problems. So it's a very long tail. There's quite a lot of skin conditions, backaches, chest infection. But there's some out there, only one patient out of both. But that's okay, they can submit that. Here are the top 10, or top 12. So it's interesting, if we put a drop-down box, say, have you got one of these things? If you have 12 things, and 12 is a bit more, I'm only a man, so I don't like to see more than a choice of about 5. Women can possibly cope with more than as well. Even if we did 12, 70% of patients will put other. So actually we don't put them in, we just say, well, type in what problems, what symptoms, and that works very well. Patients are investing their own time. What this is looking at is how many minutes along the bottom. I am an engineer, tell me if I'm boring you, I love this stuff. I love the data. Patients are spending a median of 6 minutes of their own time answering these questions. I want you, by the way, to go away and have a go yourself on Bramley surgery, skin tissue surgery. You can see what it's like. But it doesn't really work until you're ill yourself. No question too much more relevant. But all of this is patient time. We're getting 80% of patients are filling in all the questions, so they're happy to do it because they're being productive. They're not hanging on the telephone. I hope they answer. I hope I get a good answer. They feel they're involved in getting their care, and then they get a response within minutes. So here's some feedback. This is just read what patients are saying. Because we get feedback at the end of each one. If they want to leave feedback, some of them don't, they like the fact I'm telling a computer this, I'm not telling a reception. Convenient, anytime. Some people are doing it from work, they don't want to be on the phone, but they don't mind quietly answering some questions. We give people options, so you can put more than one problem in. In fact, 21% saying, yes, I've got another thing wrong with me, I want that to be considered a problem. We're offering people choice, so you can ask for your own name GP. Now, how many people... Oh, it's already there. Most people will say anyway. 3 keys to success. How are we going on time? Oh, we've got 10 minutes. So I'll have questions for you. 3 keys to success. It must be really, really easy to use. On a Windows machine or a smartphone, a tablet. It must cope with everything. If you get patients going online and most of the time, oh, that's not what I wanted, they'll give up. They won't try next time. Because they won't waste their time. They've got to have confidence and they've got to have a really rapid service. So that's down to the practice to go, right, we treat this demand with respect, it comes in, we look at it straight away, we get back to the patient, thank you for that, it works, well done, the doctor would like to see you, the nurse would like to see you, this is what your message is, I've got a script for you, can I just phone you up, I've got a couple more questions to ask, but patients go, oh, I'm so grateful. That does mean a change in the way the practice works. Now, we can put the technology on the website, we can put it on, it's all working, it's there. As I said, nobody will use it because the practice isn't really set up to make the best of it. So we do a launch program which takes you from your existing state, whatever it is, through why do we want to do this? Why is this going to help us as a practice? Do we want to save time? Do we want to do a better service? And then preparation, the launch day after 3 to 4 weeks, so it's bang. Everything starts very quickly. And then we work with you over a period of another 8 weeks to bed that down. We've helped, 75 practices go through this. More recently, that's been mostly telephone led, now we've changed to online. This is really for doctors. William Osler, one of the founders of general practice. This is what he's saying. Listen to the patient. They are telling you. What we're doing here is allowing the doctor to ask all of those questions and then be more efficient because they can look at what the patient has already said. On the screen. Really nice on the screen. And very important to think of this in the context of the NHS as a whole. There's lots going on the agenda for new models of care, Climate Challenge Fund. We've got to be evidence-based. We're doing some full-scale research with Cambridge University at the moment. We've got to use new technology. It's about leadership and it's teamwork. It's not just about technology. It involves patients. We have lots of PPGs interested in this because they're getting lots of feedback. The main problem for PPGs, I was talking to the lady who's in the National Association of PPGs, the big problem is access. That's what all PPGs are saying. We've got to tackle it. But at the heart of it is the GP-patient relationship. That is the bedrock of primary care, which is the bedrock of the NHS. And that has to be at the heart of it. That isn't going to change. That's the best thing about the NHS. So, I'll leave you with that. We've got a few minutes for questions. Yes?
Hi, thank you. That's really interesting. Can you tell me, clinical system, does it integrate with Enos Web? And also, you did the research on sort of the diseases and the problems.
Yes.
Did you follow those patients up sort of after a week or two just to check that the problem had been resolved?
First question, does it integrate with Enos Web? It interfaces equally to all of the clinical systems. We are GP SOC Lot 1 and Lot 2 compliant. There is a little hitch in it because GP SOC has not, the APIs have not been released. So at the moment, the receptionist would manually identify the patient and paste the report into the notes. So to the GP, it's seamless. There's that little manual step. When GP SOC is fully active, that will be even better. So yes, it works with Enos Web system. Now, the question on the clinical conditions. What we look at is the overall demand. We know that the overall demand is flat. What actually happens for the patient is in the care of the GP. We've done our work on remote consulting for 4 years. We know that demand is flat, so that there isn't a rise because people are unhappy. But the GP will always say, if it gets worse, call again. This is about resolving problems, so yes, it works.